Let's get this going here. Myrtle, would you please lead us in prayer?
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain, and thank you for the blessings you give us each day. Lord, we just thank you for your Son Jesus that died on the cross for our sins. And let us be thankful for all the things you do. And let this meeting be held in your honor. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
If you would remain standing, we'll say Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. If you have a cell phone, we ask that you mute or turn them off for the duration of the meeting. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Lucy, would you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Myrtle.
Here.
Eugene.
Here.
Mayor Self.
Here.
Brenda. Here. Scott.
Here.
John.
Here.
Mayor Self, you have a point.
All right. All right. It looks like we're about to get some more chairs out here. The right button here. Okay. Welcome everybody to our monthly council meeting. If you would, please hold all comments and questions until we open the floor for questions and comments at the end of after we conclude our business. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the minutes from the previous meeting, July the 11th.
All right. Mayor Self called to order the regular meeting of the council at 7 p.m. on July the 11th, 2022 in the town hall. The invocation was given by Myrtle Van Cleef. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited by all. The roll call was had. The following persons were present: Mayor Arthur Self, Councilors Myrtle Van Cleef, Eugene Kiley, Scott Mordecai, Brenda Lowe, John King. The minutes from the June regular meeting were read. Eugene Kiley made the motion to accept them as read, seconded by Scott Mordecai. Motion carried. The financials for June were given. Brenda Lowe made the motion to accept them as given. John King seconded. Motion carried. Mayor Self reported that talks continue concerning the road and culvert work on Smith Mill Road. New signs noting that children at play are still needed on Deans Ferry Road. Locke County was asked to install 2 of these signs and a curved sign on County Line Road, which had been torn down. Mayor Self mentioned that we are still awaiting the payout on our FEMA grant. Mayor Self noted that we needed to elect a new mayor pro tem, temporary chairman. Scott Mordecai nominated Eugene Kiley. Brenda Lowe seconded. Attorney for John David Calvert asked to address the council. He asked for an executive session. John King made a motion to go into executive session. Brenda Lowe seconded. Council votes were as follows: Scott, yes; Brenda, yes; John, yes; Eugene, yes; Myrtle, yes; Mayor Self, yes; Motion carried. We went into executive session at 7:22 p.m. Myrtle Van Cleef made a motion to close the executive session, seconded by Scott Mordecai, and motion carried. The meeting was once again called to order by Mayor Self at 8:15 p.m. There was more discussion on the Calvert D annexation. A motion to adjourn was made by Myrtle Van Cleef and seconded by Scott Mordecai. Motion carried, meeting adjourned at 8:25. Respectfully yours, Lucy Cowell.
Okay, Lucy, under old business, we're waiting the award, not a payout.
Oh, yes, the award. I'm sorry.
And under new business, number one, should have motion carried at the end.
Okay, I did not, when we talked about it, when it was being done, I wasn't sure about that.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments or corrections to the minutes from the July 11th council meeting? If not, do we have a motion to accept with corrections?
I make a motion to accept them with corrections.
I second.
All right. All right, Brenda made a motion to accept with corrections, seconded by Scott. All in favor? All right, motion carried. Okay. Next to the financial reports. All right, we'll start with the general fund account. Our beginning balance was $44,456.21. Ending balance is $42,841.57. Okay. Next is the American Rescue Fund account. Our beginning balance was $13,452.28. The ending balance I'm not sure what this 14.
Okay, the ending balance statement would be 13,452.86. But
Okay.
the
All right.
second payout on that, second award on that
Well, it was 13. Okay.
was
No.
made into the general fund, so it's being transferred over there.
Okay. But it has not appeared there
It
yet.
hadn't appeared on the,
So our ending balance would be then $13,452.86 with a deposit of $13,450.41 to be deposited.
this week.
Okay, very good. Next is the 287 account. Beginning balance is $4,094.11. Ending balance is $4,375.03. Next we have the 4, 5, and 6 road account. Beginning balance is $15,246.17. Ending balance $15,530.44. Next is the moving Blunt County Ford account. The beginning balance is $34,632.51. Ending balance is $36,200.72. All right, next is our capital improvement fund. The beginning and ending balance is $19,928.55. All right. Next we have the Rebuild Alabama gas tax. Beginning balance is $25,626.53. Ending balance is $26,744.95. And the last one is the Rebuild Alabama diesel tax. Beginning balance is $8,557.65. Ending balance is $8,958. Any questions, comments, or corrections to the financial report as read? If not, do we have a motion to accept as read?
I make a motion we accept them as read.
I'll second it. All right, a motion was made by Myrtle to accept as read, seconded by Eugene. All in favor? All right, motion carried. All right, no reports of standing committees or special committees or reports from officers. Under old business, Mr. Lee had requested an update from the state of Alabama about our FEMA grant application, and we're still waiting on some kind of response. As I understood it, when we had to do that survey, the agricultural, or not agricultural, but the archaeological survey, it could take up to 90 days for the review to be completed. Government moves real quick. Anyway, so we're still waiting on that. Question about road signs on Lee's Ferry. Do we have any update on that? On our road signs?
No, and as of today, they're still not up today.
Okay. All right. Under new business, made time for there he is, Mr. King and Mr. Adams to talk to us about the proposed business move. So, if you'd like to go ahead and.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's good to be back with all you guys, and to y'all. I enjoyed our visit last month. For y'all here, if you don't know, I'm Brett King, and it's my pleasure to introduce you guys to Bud Adams. Bud has been a client of mine for 5 or 6 years now. He founded B&B Tire Landfill here in Blount County in the Hayden area 20 years ago. Was that about right? 25 years ago. And I'm going to brag on him because he won't brag on himself, but he has been, I would say, a poster child for ADM in the proper way to manage a tire facility under state of Alabama laws. And so I know he's been involved with several of the regulation changes over the last 15, 20 years as the government has looked to the competing interest of disposing of all the tires so that they don't end up in our rivers, but also sensitive to the fact that we want to make sure that they don't create problems for our communities. So they've drafted all that. He is, if you want to be in the tire business in the state of Alabama, you would want to have Bud as a mentor or as a partner because he's going to keep you between the lines. As we discussed last month, Bud has been talking with Mr. Calvert about some property up here almost to 79 in the area that we would generally consider an industrial park now. And so you have up there an old coal mine cut that is deep. It's a natural hole where you could put a lot of tires, cover them up. In essence, we would be reclaiming what Calvert Coal Company left as a scar kind of across your community here on the eastern boundary. And I think it could be a win-win scenario because Mr. Bud's got all his cards on the table. His facility over at Hayden will be at full capacity relatively soon. And so he would like to keep his business here in the county. And certainly your area here is one of his options. So, Bud, this is Ms. Myrtle and Mr. Eugene and Arthur Self. You've met him before. And Ms. Brenda and John King and Mr. Scott, who's brand new to the council. He was sworn in last month. So, with that being said, I'll maybe just, Bud, do you want to say anything or just let them ask you questions? All right?
I've answered a lot of questions in the last 2 years. I'm Bud Adams. I ain't tell everybody in this country is dirt. Buddy's been around me a lot, meetings that we've had on him. I don't try to be something I'm not. I'm not county redneck, and I work hard. I always worked hard, played hard. You know, that's the way life's been for me. I started coal mine business I worked for 20 years in strip mines in Walker County and Tuscaloosa. Worked a little at Calvert Mars, and then started a landfill in August the 1st of '97. My anniversary date was last Monday for my 25th year. And I've been fortunate. Good Lord's blessed me. I've made it 25 years without a violation from Hayden on anything. And they said that I've never worked 6 months without a violation, but I've went by 25 years now without one. And, you know, I'm proud of that. I ain't bragging, but I am proud that we made it. I had an inspection last Friday, and Friday is a week ago, 2 weeks ago, last of July. And the inspector come in and asked me, he said, Bud, what are you nervous about? And I said, well, Monday is my 25th anniversary, and I'd really like to get that in without a violation. And he said, you're good. He said, nothing that you got out of the way is bad. You know what we're supposed to do. Tire landfills are different from, I'll give you an update, tire landfills are a lot different from any other landfill. They don't smell. You don't have, the only 2 things that we have environmental impacts on are fire and mosquitoes. You keep your tires covered, you don't have either one of those. And once the tire is buried, it's neutral. It doesn't help any of the water or soil. It doesn't hurt the water or soil. It just lays there. As long as you keep the air and the sun off of it. And we spray once a week for mosquitoes in the mosquito season. I don't spray in the wintertime because we don't have mosquitoes in the winter. But we spray every week for mosquitoes. That's one of the rules that Adam's got. And I'm a little different. A lot of people use little backpack sprayers and stuff like that for mosquitoes. I use a crop sprayer. I spray far good far side of the road. And with my tractor, I've got a crop sprayer I spray with. That helps me. I was raised in peach orchards, so I learned how to control bugs. That helped. Strip mines I worked in, they put me over reclamation. I've been in strip mines 2 years, and they stuck me in the reclamation end. And everywhere I worked in Walker County and Tuscaloosa, that's what they had me do, is reclaim. I was over a pit, but I was over all the reclaiming, everything we done. And, you know, the challenge to me, I've always tore the ground up. There's always a challenge for me to try to put it back fixed. And now, I'm doing right the opposite. Instead of digging a hole, I'm filling holes up. And I've got the first site that I had over on County 9 was 15.2 acres. We finished it about 8 years ago. We went across we call it a creek, it's just a branch. You can walk across and never get your feet wet. And we've been over there, we got 3 to 4 years left in that facility, and we'll be done with it. And I've invited, and Buddy knows, I've invited everybody to meet. Anybody wants to come in and see our facility, no landfill will let you go and take pictures, except for me. I invite people to come in and look at ours. I don't mind a bit in the world if you want to come look. If you'll come in, the only thing I ask you, if you come in to look at the landfill, call me, let me carry you through, and I'll show you anything in there you want to see. Tell you anything you want to look at. I don't hide nothing. I told my wife when we went into business, the first day that we opened, I told her, I said, never ever hide anything from an inspector. That's a taboo if you do that. You know, you hide something from inspectors or from people, they're gonna find out anyway, you know, and then you're in trouble. So we don't hide nothing. I've had other landfills that would come in and want to take pictures of our landfill because according to the inspectors, we're the only landfill that covers like we do. Most landfills cover just off the top. They'll cover the top, what dirt falls off the sides, they cover like that. We cover the downslope. We cover on a 45 degree, about a 45 degree angle, just steep enough the machine can back up and down. And we handle 3 or 4 times more dirt than we actually need to. I don't get violations for it. You know, I stay out of trouble by doing that. We go a little extra, I don't get in trouble. And that's what we do. I try to be, and I'll be honest with you, I promise the good Lord, if he let me out of this business, I'd never cheat nobody. I've never cheated anybody. If you can show me where I cheated anybody, I'll make it up. I'll come and talk to them, and I'll make it right. But I can, that I am proud of. I don't try to mistreat people. I try to treat all their neighbors good. I've got one neighbor there at the site we go by, the only house we really go by close is right in front of his house. For 4 years, every time I go by that man's house, he'd shake his fist at me, he'd flip me off, flailing his arms. And I told all the drivers, I said, just be nice to him, drown him with kindness. That's what we do. This went on for about 3 or 4 years. Finally, one day, he come out across the side of the road, he flagged me down. And his name is Mr. Woods. I said, Mr. Woods, how can I help you? He said, I've got a wash up here in my driveway. My car is a drag. I said, Mr. Woods, he said, I want to know if you haul me a little dirt there and put in that dust. He said, I'll pay you for it. And I said, well, I can do that. Instead of hauling him dirt, I'll pay him 2 or 3 buckets of gravel and tandem. We carried it there and put it in the yard, and I took my farm tractor, dressed it up. Since then, sugar hadn't melted. I was paving his roads. His driveway's far good of a road up there. But he's really come, you know, it's good, and he don't, the only thing, if a driver drives by his house a little too fast, he thinks a little too fast, he'll flag me down. The next time I go by, and I go by his house 10 or 15 times a day, he'll flag me down, tell me which driver it is, or I talk to the driver. But he's nice about it. And that, when being a neighbor, if I go in over here, I'll be a neighbor to everybody around. I try to treat people like I want to be treated. If that ain't good for you, it just won't be good for you, because that's what I'm trying to do. And I've, so far, the county likes the way I've worked the last 25 years. When I started with the county, I started sending them royalty check every month. And y'all had some people in this neighborhood right here that had landfills that wasn't paying the county their tipping fee. They said, so I send them a check, they send it back to me. I turn around and send them a check, they send it back to me. And finally, the lady up there at the courthouse, she called me, she said, why are you sending us this check every month? And I said, well, I told Donnie Thomas, the probate judge, that I'd pay him every month the tipping fee that I was supposed to pay. She said, well, what are we supposed to do with it? And I said, lady, I don't care. But I paid mine every month. We paid by the 10th day of every month our royalty that we're supposed to pay. I pay it to the county. If I got a royalty, I pay the landowner, I pay them by the 10th of every day, every month. The only thing that I've ever had a question with the county, I don't have scales. We dump by tire, per tire, or by load price. And to make sure that my tipping fee is right, I don't take any money back off when I sell tires. And I usually sell 2 or 3 18-wheeler loads a week is what we sell right now. That's what I sell. I've got 9 drivers. Each one of my drivers sells tires. But when their tires come in the landfill, that's where the royalties cut when it comes to what goes back out the gate. We don't take nothing back off. So that makes our adjustment balance out, you know, where the people won't have questions about that when they, I had some people that come and looked at it, and I ain't gonna tell the man's name, but he came and looked, he said, I don't think you're doing that right. And I carried him through the landfill, he took some pictures. We went back over to the office, we were sitting there in a truck, and as the truck went in, and it was about half loaded. About 30 minutes, he come back out, he rounded up the tire when he left. And he said, what was that? I said, well, he dumped a few he had on the truck, and he bought the rest of the tire. They're all loaded car tires. And he sat there for about 2 hours, and there's 3 trucks. 2 of them came in empty and left loaded. And that's what we do. If I can salvage a tire, I salvage. I sell a few tires in the public. Mostly what I sell is to stores. Stores come in, couch shops. I've got a deal working with Griff Industry at Coleman. They buy 1,000 casings a month from me of Low Pro 22.5 truck tires. And then they'll buy all the 11 R 22s I can get. I don't ever get enough of them for them. They usually just 500 or 600 a month is what they get of them. But the Low Pro 22s, I do have that, and it's 1,000 tires a month. So that 1,000 tires, I pay the royalty on. But I don't take it back off. And that helps me about, that keeps I told you I don't try to cheat nobody. And that keeps everything on the even scale. So, if y'all want to ask me any questions, I don't mind answering questions anybody got. I've stood in front of people for 2 or 3 hours at a time answering questions. I went in when ADM was making the law, tire law in '03, me and my wife went to every meeting they had in the state of Alabama. They'd have them at Huntsville or Mobile, Montgomery. We'd take off that day, we'd go to the meeting. And they'd ask me, they said, why are you doing that? And I said, well, everything y'all are gonna do is gonna affect me. And they finally got to where they'd leave me a chair, they pulled me a chair up at their table, because they knew I was coming to meet. And I've had to sit and listen to how attorneys to drill me, ask me some of the craziest questions. Some of y'all might be attorneys, but attorneys, Brett can. Attorneys can ask bad questions. And you know, and that's what I do. And I don't mind, I have customers that call me from all over the state of Alabama and ask me questions about the tire law. And like I said, I don't have much education. The education that I've got, 99% of it is hard knocks, trial and error. That's what I do. And that's what I've done in the landfill business. And the way we've chosen to do things has worked out really well for us. It's just the way we cover, the way we do it, the way we unload. We hand unload everything, except that now if it's a dump trailer or walking forward trailer, they walk. But and ADM makes me keep a book, and they don't let me sign it. I got 2 men, one's my grandson and one's Donnie Adams. They have to inspect 2 loads a week. We inspect every load, but they got to put it in writing that they've inspected 2 loads. There's no household garbage or no hazardous material, anything like that in it. But we unload everything by hand. And I'm getting too old, but I still do that every day. I still try to help them unload 2 or 3 trailers a day. And sometimes we'll unload 9 or 10 trailers a day, 53-footers. And sometimes it's 2 or 3, sometimes it's not. and that's what I do. And that's, business has worked good. I'd like to be able to get this facility. This would be a good location. It's out of the way enough that it really won't, bother a lot of people. It'd be close to WLG or whatever this, is that what they call themselves? Landfill, you know?
They changed their name about, I don't know, a year ago, 6 months ago, something like that.
WCA sold out.
WCA is RLS or something like that now.
All green or something. Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
215 acres, is that what it is?
No, it's about 100 to 120 acres.
Okay, all right.
Land, the only land that I was looking at that they got, that the Calvert's on, is what's been stripped. The strip
How
pit.
long would it take to fill that up? Just, I mean, I know you can't nail it to the year, but
No, it's
just a rough estimate.
10 to 15 years.
Okay.
I could fill it in, now the way our business is, I'm gonna tell you, and I don't understand it, I've asked tire people all over the country. Nobody understands. Tire businesses went crazy in the last 6 months. They're covering us up. We're turning people away. That we told them we can't take the tire. We don't need that many. Because I used to do the landfill by myself. I unloaded the truck. I hauled tires too for 10 or 12 years. But when I come in, I worked at Pimco too for 3 years after I got the landfill going. I worked at Pimco at night. I worked the landfill in the daytime. I've done that for 3 years. And then we got where we could make a living in the landfill. We could pay our bills. So when we've done that, I have the tire truck. I'd haul tires early in the day. I'd go back to the landfill. I'd get on a little dozer loader and I'd start working there and I'd unload trucks and load that. I've done that up until about 8 or 9 years ago. And my wife convinced me.
Your Honor, if I
that-
could remind my witness, the question was, how long would it take to fill it
Fill
up?
that up.
Yeah, that's okay, I was gonna remind you, thank you, Your Honor.
But that's, she told me I was getting too old to do that, so I started hiring people to help me. And now, I've got 5 men that work on the yard on those trucks. And they stay busy most of the time, so by the time we get there, I open the landfill every morning, I come in at 5:30. We open at 7 o'clock. I'll unlock my gates at 5:30, go and sit and make me a pot of coffee. People come in, sit down, talk to me, drink a cup of coffee, or truck drivers will come in, go over and wait on the boys to come in to unload. But the landfill is, that site down here is not a perfect site, but it's a doable site. A perfect site to me is a big hole, just a giant hole in the ground where you dump straight in. This one, it's high on one side, it's about, the high wall over here is about 65 foot. And they pushed the spoil out away from it, which I'll have to do a little extra work to do that, fix that, you know, but that just makes me have to handle it a little different. But the experience I've had when I was working, really all my life has brought me back to the land, to what I do. You stand up, and you know, all of us have got hindsight. You can look behind you, you can see things that's went on, and you can understand that, but you can't see what's in front of you. Filling that up, if business stays like it is, probably 10, 12 years, that facility will be full. And I don't, like I said, I don't understand it. The way things are, interest is going up, inflation's going through the roof. Tire business is running wild right now for some reason. And can't nobody explain that, and I can't. And that's the deal.
Is that across the road from John David's house?
No, sir.
No.
It's the same side of the road. So his house is on down, it's behind the industrial park.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the road that goes to Reed's schoolhouse, you don't know that about that. But there's a gate there, and there's a high wall.
I
Turn
remember
left.
that one permitted from WLG, permitted that, that's permitted. You can dump on it. The only problem is they mine that with a huge shovel. They shot the rock on a 20 by 20 foot pattern. Anybody's ever worked around the mine, when you shoot anything on a 20 by 20, you have boulders, big rock. When I was in Tuscaloosa, we shot over 12 by 12, because we handled everything with a load, a backhoe, a loader, or dozer. And you gotta keep your material small enough you can handle it. That over there got the big boulders, and it's hard sand rock all the way to the top. If I covered that over there across the road on that you're talking about a high wall, and covered it on a 45, a dozer wouldn't back up it, because you hit one of them big rocks, you just sit there spinning. That material's not good. Over where this is at, most of it is blue shell. Blue shell is easy to handle, it's easy to reclaim.
So it's behind his house.
It's, no, sir,
Well-
it's to the east of his house.
It back behind 2 Green Ink.
Oh,
I don't know the name of
two
it.
green, I know we done.
Okay.
It's over there on the, you can see part of it, but you gotta get off the road to see it, tell what it
It's
is.
behind where all those concrete pipes
Is it
are
Gamble
stood up.
Run Station 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Industrial Drive or whatever the name of it. But I was gonna ask you, that's gonna be the primary access is
Yes,
to that,
That access right in front beside the pipe place would be the access to it.
okay,
And the land, the high wall runs 2 directions. It makes a curve, and they lined it, they kept that 65 foot. That must have been their, for that seam of coal, it must have been their breaking point. They couldn't go no deeper than that, or it would've got deeper on them, so, and that was, of course, in mines, you got, there's just a limit on how far you can go, how deep you can go. And that's, of course, we got the same thing. We got a limit on how much I can do. I refuse to run and lose money. I told them if I'm gonna lose money, I'm gonna go out of business, I'll just reclaim everything and stop. And like I said, I've been blessed, fortunate, been more blessed than fortunate. I've been able to make a profit. A lot of months, it's been 10, but I still make a little profit. And I like what I'm doing. It's,
got a couple other questions for you. What is the expected tonnage today are you talking about? Or what kind of permit, tonnage permit are you going to be seeking?
tonnage, well, I've got a 500 ton a day permit right now. And we're pushing it. That pushes it for us right now. You know, sometimes we'll say, them on the tonnage law. You can be over your tonnage for 2 consecutive quarters, but you can't go over the third. If you do, you get a violation. Tonnage is average 7 days a week. Holidays, everything, your tonnage counts on that kind of a calendar. And so, you know, it helps us if we go over, say if we went over tonnage today or tomorrow, we have a slow day, then that, they average your tonnage. Tonnage is always average. That's the way A&M does their business. I've never had any of them to question. They look at their books every time they come. If y'all did, y'all let me put this over here, I'll do y'all the same thing I've done in Blount County. Tell any of the county officials, you come in and look at anything you want to look at on my books, except the money. That ain't nobody's business tonight. That's my business on the money part. But, and I've had just about everybody in Blount County. I think we got 1 commissioner now, and that's in District 2 that hadn't been to the landfill. And I've had them to ask me to look at my books. They said, can we look at your book? I'm old fashioned. I don't do computers. My wife does, both her secretaries do. But I make them, we keep a hard copy for Bud. I can understand that hard copy. I can right there, I can figure my tonnage every day. I can figure the money that was put out. I know the money that we took in. That's what I do at 5:30 in the morning. I go over that book and see if we've made a profit or see if we've lost money the day before. And I can usually tell you, except when I have Thompson to come work on something, and then I lose money that day. But that's what I do. And it's, the tonnage and stuff's easy for me to keep up with it like that, because I can, right now, and on an average, it takes 100 100 car tires to make a ton. That's on an average. Now, some of the, if you get a solid load of big tires, 100 is over a ton. If they average them all the tires through, 100 car tires make a ton, and usually 20 truck tires make a ton. 18 wheeler tires. And that's what we try to calculate our tonnage on them. And then, off-road tires, when people dump them, they have to dump them by scale. And I don't have scale, so they have to bring me a scale ticket, where they went across scale before they load, and when they load, they bring me a scale ticket. And I keep those tickets for people to look at if you want to see.
How many counties does this go?
Counties?
Yes.
I've got all Alabama, and I've got 5 states, if they let me drive. Some of them don't take tires from. But we get several tires out of Georgia, we get a few out of Tennessee. But 90% of all of our tonnage comes from the state of Alabama. That's where we get our tonnage from. I started out in Blount County, and I went back to the commission and told them, you can't make a living in Blount County. There ain't enough tires in Blount County, you pay your fuel bill, even when we wasn't running. And they all agreed to that, so they gave me the county. Some of the landfills we've had in Blount County kept the Blount County tonnage, or the Blount County coverage for years. I didn't do that. I told you, I try to be straight up with people, tell them the truth. And it's now, if a load comes in out of our coverage area, I've asked Adam about that. Adam says if a load just shows up at our place, it's out of our coverage area, to take the load, because I'm not a policeman, they are. They've got enforcement people that come up and look at their books, and if there's a load that come in, they see a load that's come in out of our coverage area, we've got a manifest, it's got 3 parts to it, we keep one of those. It's got their name, address, and most of them have their phone number on it, and Adam can go get them. But they said if we turn them away, what you'll end up with, that load of tire will be dumped somewhere on the side of the back road, because they won't haul them back where they come from.
Yeah.
And one thing we have done, and I'll tell you, that's all the tire landfills in the county. When I went in business 25 years ago, up there where we live, every back road had tires piled everywhere on it. And now, you don't see no tires piled anywhere on it. We give them a reasonable plate. I charge 60 cents for a car tire. And 60 cents is not much for anybody to pay for a car tire to go it over the road.
Well, when I started working in landfills, 50 cents per tire, $50 a ton. Now it's $10 per tire.
That's what they charge. They bring their tires to us.
They don't want the tires.
I get a lot of their customers, they've even charged people, $200 a ton if they had 30 or 40 tires. They turn a little truck around, tag trailer, come to us. And most of the time, a little tag trailer will be $50, $60 worth, $70. What do you want? That's crazy to charge that much for it. Take advantage of
They don't
people.
want you to do that.
Yeah,
That's the reason.
the reason they don't want them, tires,
Hard to bury.
they're hard to bury. And see, garbage landfills or debris landfills are on a 2-foot increment. They have to bury garbage within 2 foot. Then they have to put 6 inches of cover material over that 2 foot. To stay legal, that's what they gotta do. Mine, they let me cover the downslope, and I'll rack them as high as I can rack them with a 953 loader. That's on size loaders I use. I've got 3 of them. We'll rack the tires on that 45. But when we pack them, after we put dirt on them, they'll mash down to about 5 or 6 foot. That's about what we do, you know what I mean? And we've got them layered. They'll be instead of being layers flat, they're in layers at angle. And we keep it covered, and it's, well, this week I've had trouble. Last week I've got 3 tandems, had all 3 of them down one time. And, you know, I've had trouble like that trying to keep old trucks running. But that's just part of the game we play, you know.
About how many trucks a day do you expect?
Normally, we'll have, usually about 20 trucks, counting the little ones and big ones too, pick up. I get people come in with a car, have 2 or 3 tires in the trunk of their car. And I'll have people come in with a 53 dump trailer, 53-foot trailer first off. Don't have a dump trailer 53 foot, the biggest dump trailer is about foot trailer, dump trailer that we do. And but that's normally average. Sometimes we'll have 35 or 40 listings on our book,
Mhm.
but sometimes one truck will get 10 or 12 stores, and each store is listed. So we keep up with every, as soon as this was a load, every customer goes in that book. If one of my drivers picks up 10 stores, takes 10 stores to make a load, there's 10 listings on that list. Be one truck, but he'd have that many loads. And that's what we do, you know, and it's, we try to keep our paperwork. You work in the landfill, you know how it is. It's hard to keep all your paperwork. Everybody has to stop at our gate. The only ones I've had trouble with here in the last 2 or 3 years is, let's see, I need to be politically correct. Some of the people that come across the southern border. And they're a little bit, you have to watch them when they unload. We have to count for them, because some of them can't count. And if I get to see a truck comes through, I've done it enough. Girls laugh at me in the office, they'll say, "Bud, how many tires on that truck?" And I'll look up there at the truck, I said, "Well, it's got 200. Or it's got 250. They'll pick up the phone, call one of the boys, to count this truck when he's coming in. We don't think he gives the right count. They come back out and they say, 249 tires? How do you do that? And I said, "Well, been doing it for 25 years, you see them every day, and you pretty well tell what trucks got."
Mr. Self, a good follow-up might be for them, how much, based on the current area in which people bring trucks to you, how many would you expect to come this way versus come down
This way,
79? Yeah.
they won't nobody come down this
So
way.
to me, that's really important to y'all. If most of your traffic's coming off 79,
Yeah.
you won't even know.
This
it.
way,
They do come this way now.
there's a few, there's mostly small trucks.
Well, no, the 18-wheelers come
No,
in
we
with,
have 18-wheelers that
18-wheeler tires.
They go to that lot over there where you see all the tires on top of the ground.
Most of those tires come
I
from
follow
worldwide
them there.
transporters. And worldwide transporters, I don't know now, they used to be based out of, Wyoming or Colorado.
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 We had a meeting with them about 6 months ago.
But they've asked me about dumping at the landfill, and up until WCA, or up until they had the fire last year, they told me if I would let them dump for what they dumping over here, they'd gladly go to ours, because it'd be easier access over there. And I told them, if you dump over here, you pay what everybody else is gonna pay. So they stayed over here. And that's one thing that I do, girls hit me up about that today. Everything's getting so high, and they asked me when I was going up. I've got customers that are asking me when I'm going to do it again. And when Griff asked me last week, and they told me, they said, "You can't stay in business with inflation getting as high if you don't go up." And I told them, I said, "Well, I'm not going to go up till I have to, and then we will." But some of the people, hey, and I ain't bad mouthing none of these folks over here. I ain't gonna do that. Some of them, these people they've got a special deal cut where they dump for a lot of them half of what you can dump at our place for. But if they do that, that's their business. They can live with that. I can't, because they ain't dumping on mine. If you dump at my place, you pay what everybody else pays. If it's 60 cents a tar for a car tire, you're gonna pay 60 cents for a car tire. And if it's a load of tires, right now, I charge $600 for a 53-foot trailer. Most of them have 1,000, 1,100 tires. You count them, and I'll count them usually 3 or 4 days. Big trailers, I can't keep up with it. But if they'd rather pay for a dump load, and then I charge $100 if my boys have to unload the trailer for them. When I've done that, I thought everybody would unload their own trailer. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to call up in a 53-foot van and load it for $100.
But them tires, the big ones that they see up there, could those be buried in this if you had it?
Yeah,
Would you have to cut them, or would you just bury them like
no, we
that?
bury tires whole. We don't,
So he might be able to clean up y'all's mess, because I think probably it's going to end up on somebody's hand to do that.
we don't shred, everybody, let me put it in, everybody that shreds tires in the state of Alabama is bankrupt. They got one man over here that does a single pass. And he has to do that to keep his customers, because he's told them they require him to recycle his tire. So he'll do, he's got his jaws on the shredder spread out, and he'll run car tires through it. And all it really does is punch holes in the tire. And ADM counts that as recycled. They count that as 100% recycled, so he can keep his customer base from recycling. I don't do that. We bury tires whole. If a load of shreds come in, they pay by the ton. If we get just car tires or truck tires, I charge them by the tire. Now, we'll take off-road tires per tire. I've got a list. It's 3 pages long. I got every size truck tire they make, off-road tire they make. And it's got a weight on it. And they don't want to pay by the single tire thing, because the weight on it is for a new tire, not a wore out. That's the only way I could get it, and I got that from a man named Biggin that used to work at tire centers in Birmingham. He gave me the list of what each tire weighs.
I think we may have crossed paths with him.
With Biggin?
With Biggin. We were in the trucking business for a lot of years and had equipment too.
How close can you get to the weight of shredded tires that come in? Because we see them coming in,
Shredded tires have to pay by the ton.
but you don't have a scale.
No, they have to bring us a weight ticket.
Oh, okay, they gotta bring you a weight
They
ticket
bring
if
us a
it's,
weight ticket if they can pay.
so that's the only way you would take those, is if they cross a scale.
I'll settle the price, but I'm gonna be.
Well, here's the, I know you can look at it and say, okay, this is 8 tons, or whatever.
Well, if shredded load comes in.
It's more than a regular load.
If he comes in with a shredded load and they don't wanna go across scales, I price them different than I do everybody else. I'll go out there and look at it, and I'll make sure we don't get hurt. I'll jack it up enough, and we're independent, and we're a private company. ADM says I can turn anybody away from the gate if we want to. If we decide we don't want a certain truck come in, I tell them hit the road. If I think they're cheapness, I tell them get out, don't come back. And I'll do that. And it's walking 4 trailers. We will not unload walking 4 trailers by hand, because they pile those tires in. And I got a customer he brings about 3 loads a week on walking floor. And I told him, the last one we unloaded took us 5 hours for 4 men to unload that trailer. I was one of the fellas in it. It was ugly. And
Are you talking about the trailer like what Wet Tires has?
Yeah, the trailer will go full of walks unloaded. And I told him, he said, well, my floor don't work. I said, if you come back, you unload the truck yourself. My boy's not gonna load a walking floor trailer. Next day, showed back up the same truck. And Blake, our grandson, called me and told me, he said, Pop, this feller's back today and his walking floor ain't working again. What do you want us to do? I said, tell him to either unload it yourself or hit the road. Carry it back where he come from. That fellow worked 8 hours and still had about 1/4 of the load on his truck when he drove out. He quit time, I didn't went back on. But since then, the floor seems to work. And that's what we do. And then
You said your hours, you open at 7?
open at 7, we stay open till 4:30 in the afternoon. Now, I do have my drivers, I allow them to drop and hook. Because some of them run, they'll be on a long run, if they're down in Montgomery or something, or try to get, all my drivers get 2 loads a day. That's some of them every now and then they'll get 1. Most of the time, the first load pays all their expenses, the second load they make profit on. That's where they make their living. And they'll try to load 2 53-foot trailers in a day, if they can. Most of them got a gooseneck and a 53-footer. And they'll bring 1 big truck in, they go get a gooseneck load because they make it fast and to get their money back. And that's what they do. And we work like that. And that's just, I tell everybody it's a game. And to me, it is a game. It's just like, I guess some people get addicted on gambling, doing all kind of different stuff. It's a game to me to see trucks come in and out and shuffle everything around the way we have to do it to make everything work. And I tell them, the boys at work, I just tell them it's just a game, boys. That's what it is. We make a living. And if something happens, we adjust. We'll have to move. If you don't, ain't able to adjust, you're bankrupt. That's what that's what it is. Now, look,
Gotta make profit.
any of you folks wanna come to landfill?
I'm new to this area. I've only been here about 7 years, so I've been in Hayden off and on, you know, playing ball and stuff like. Where is your landfill at right
You know
now?
where H&S Garage is on County 160? You take a left right there on H&S, go up the mountain, we're a mile and 2/10 on the right.
Okay.
When you pass Old Grove Church, to the next driveway on the right, and our office is in a chain link fence.
Okay.
And that, when you come in there, that field that's laying out there in front of you, in front of the office, got 80 foot of tires on it. And it's got Chorizo on it about that deep, and they make me, Adam's crazy, they won't let me put higher trees on it. Because garbage landfills and debris landfills give off stuff that's called leachate. Leachate will kill grass, trees, because all it is when the material rots, it's an acid that comes off of it when it rots. They won't let me put trees on it, even though we don't have leachate, because they don't let nobody else do it. And so we have to bush hog that once a year. I bush hog it in the fall of the year. The only places that won't be bush hogged on that street, I do have a covey of quail that stays on it. And I'll leave them about 2 or 3 acres every year. I'll skip. I'll leave this spot at this time, next time, and my inspector allows me to do that because he knows what I'm doing. Because he said, as long as you rotate it, and don't let a tree grow on it. And you drive out there and you'll see little blocks that we left, and that's the birds. And
About how much would you say the town would get monthly if that passed?
according to the royalty that was set on.
Right.
Based
Most
on
of the time-
tipping fee,
Sir,
it would be based on tipping fee,
tipping fee.
yeah.
Tipping fee right now, Blount County gets $1.50 a ton. And right now, we're paying about $70,000 to $75,000 a year tipping fee, is what I pay a year to the county. You go up there and check the record, don't bother me a bit more. But we've never been late over the 10th day of the month on any tipping fee we've ever paid. And we pay every month. That's the first thing that comes off at the end of the month.
House payment.
We pay that before we pay our bill.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Self, under the
I
rules,
think-
if he came in the city, would that tipping fee that goes to the county come to y'all instead? Do y'all know that rule?
No, I think it would be a separate fee, because under our business license ordinance, I think tipping fee is set at 50 cents a ton at this point.
And you're paying on $1.50 to the county, so that might be 25,000 a year for you guys? Would that be about right?
And I'm gonna be honest with you, what we do, the biggest thing, I'm proud of the business because we make a profit. The biggest thing we do is fix it. We fix an eyesore where it looks good. And everybody rides in over where we're working. There, Miss Calvert went over there, she looked, and it doesn't look at all like anybody would think. Doesn't look like this landfill down here. I refused. They offered to sell that to me 3 or 4 months ago. Me and Brett went and looked at it, and I didn't like the looks of it. So that's where we left that. They talked about how many million cubic yards of airspace they had. Well, you go to the moon to look at the airspace. I want stuff to look good. And what I try to do, most of the landfill we've got now is almost as flat. We have to leave a 2% slope. And you can't tell a 2% slope is a slope. If there's enough slope, your water won't stand. Your water will move off of it. And that's what we do. And over where we're working now, we're still on my property that I own over there. I've got 7 acres from Bert and Rhonda Swan leased at the end of that. And we'll be on them in 5 or 6 more months. But I told them I won't mind the look good. I want it flat, I want it pretty. The only thing that won't be flat is the downslope where we finish. and the rest of it is flat. It's flat enough, you can look out there across it and you think it's flat, but water will run off of it. And it runs to one area.
Are you talking about buying this land or leasing it from John David?
Buying it. John Davis told me they'd do either one, but he said it'd probably be gonna be a purchase on it. We'd probably come to agreement on buying it. He told me to start with, he'd do either way, but he'd rather for us to buy it, and that's what we're looking to do. And that's as far as we've got with it.
And that's what I told y'all last month was, if he feels like y'all wanna do a deal, then he's gonna do a deal. But, and we understand that's a decision that y'all need to make in the benefit of the town, but.
All right.
You know what? Hey, I'm not no multi-millionaire now, y'all can forget that. If you're looking for that, you're looking at the wrong thing. I make a good living, and I put a little money back. I bought some property with what profit we made out of the landfill. And if you go up to my house, you'll see it ain't no $1 million home. I've got a nice old country farmhouse that we fixed. My farm looks good.
He lives by his facility too, I mean, really close to it,
I
right?
live a half a mile.
So it's not like he did it in somebody's backyard, it's right there, his place.
My wife is a deer farmer, she raises deer. I have to do 90% of the work on the farm, deer farm too for her, and I'm very tired. And I keep peach trees up in my yard because I'm always raised in a peach orchard. And I like being able to walk out in the yard and get me a fresh peach anytime I want. And that's what I do. And if you come up to my house right now, you go out there in the yard, pick your own basket of peaches. But it's a,
All right. Well, Bud,
that's what we do in the landfill, and that's.
good. Appreciate you coming. Anybody else
Appreciate
got
y'all
questions
coming.
for him? And, taking up a lot of his
I'd like to
time.
get your number to call you to, because I'd like to come see it, I've never
Sure.
seen one.
Tickle me if you come. This thing, I'll have to think of my number.
You want to write it down?
I'll be happy to let you know, I didn't bring my
Okay,
phone, cause I
okay.
don't do much tech. And if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna ask him to take me home, cause I've got math homework to do with my kids. And I'm looking forward to it.
My number's 937-3986.
Bottle of water, I know your throat's tight.
Oh,
In that refrigerator right there.
Yeah.
hey, I'm sorry I rattled too much, y'all. People,
You've just been
hey,
very.
people talk to me all the time, and I've got to where, now, landfill questions are second nature to me. It's, because I have to answer them so much, and I answer them every week. When they people ask me every week something about what we do, how we do it, why we do this, why we do that. And so I rehearse it all the time, just over and over.
I can relate.
Hey, all of y'all, I'm serious, every one of y'all are perfectly welcome to come look. You just, like I said, if you come up there, stop at the office, you're able to call me, or my if I'm not available, I'll have to get a meeting or something. Blake, my grandson will come out and pick you up, he'll here and show you anything you want to see. He won't hide nothing from you. If you come to our landfill, you'll see a mountain of tires that we've got right now. We've got probably 1,000 tires on top of the hill. All of those tires are sold. We just wait on the trucks to come pick them up. And I do that.
One last question for you. Out of the tires you get, what percentage do you actually bury?
Oh, the vast majority of them are buried. We usually keep 10-15% that we can sell.
Okay.
And what we sell, it amazes people. I don't tell you all the money I have. I said, Daddy, that's my business. But I get good. Tire market is good right now. Used cases, of course, they don't pay us what they pay stores and individuals that carry them. Because everybody knows we're a landfill. And everybody knows that tire's been thrown away. Couch shops like them. And these used car stores, tire stores like them. Joey Witt's place he's got there on 160, 95% of all the tires he sells comes out of the landfill. And Joey's one of my drivers.
They used to work at Warrior Tire and we'd load his truck.
Butch was a good fellow, good friend of mine too. I hated it when Butch passed away, but
Well, Bud, we appreciate you coming down and,
I
and
appreciate
speaking
it.
with us.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all, guys. Yes, sir.
Text me.
Yes, sir, I will.
That's my number.
Yes, sir.
Very informative.
Thank you, guys. Hey, and I know Ms. Calvert's eager, so as soon, if y'all can, maybe over the next month, think about it, pray about it, talk to him, and maybe let us know so we can let that too, okay?
Good.
See everybody.
All right.
y'all have a nice day.
Thank you, Bud.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's all I had under new business. And I have nothing for petitions, application complaints, or appeals, and no resolutions or orders. Resolution ordinances or orders or other business. Questions from, one second. We wanted to, just wanted to speak real quick, back to new business, is assistance to Dallas-Fellsville Fire Department. We did get our second payment from the American Rescue Fund, and we can utilize some of the money in helping out fire department. So we probably need to start some discussions on what the department needs, and to pursue getting everything set up for the 911 to get that. Okay.
Yes,
Um,
please.
You want to run through that real quick?
Yes, please.
All right, so if everybody that's residents in Blount County knows, Blount EMS is, as of October the 1st, will cease and desist in Blount County. So that has been that's where I've been running into a roadblock. 911 board has authorized or awarded a new ambulance contract effective October the 1st to Lifeguard out of Birmingham. They will have stations at the Aniana station, which is up there, that little spin-off road going to Altoona, Cleveland, the west side over by, and Hayden. And also, we're looking at possibly adding a substation at Dallas-Fellsville Station 1, as well as up at the far end of the county, straight up 79. I can't remember the department up in that area, but like up close to like, was that Horton or somewhere up in that area?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's looking good, but I cannot move forward with anything until I meet with the powers to be at Lifeguard. Which,
Okay.
if everything goes as planned, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
We're still teeter-tatting with, I drew a blank, the 911 board or director at Jefferson County, drew a blank.
Corker.
No, I can't remember, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I've been back and forth with him several times. And it's
It's
like,
not Jim Coker, is it?
no. But we're scheduling the meeting hopefully with us, Lifeguard, Jefferson County, and Blount County, hopefully sometime around the 1st of October when everything takes over, and to confirm that Lifeguard will follow us into the Jefferson County portion of our park, of county line.
Okay.
So we're still, I mean, we haven't been told no, which is a good thing. But I did have to go ahead from Blount EMS until they didn't get the contract, so I'm having to back up and punt with Lifeguard, so.
Okay.
But we are making some progress, just not at the speed I was hoping for, so. But I'll keep you updated. I'll find out more information hopefully by the next meeting, and I can update you again then.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Anyway, we'll get together and discuss
Okay.
what needs the fire department has and what we might be able to assist with.
Okay.
Particularly if there's some expense in getting it switched over, getting all of county line switched over to, I don't know whether it's radio frequencies or radio changes.
With the new radio network that Blount County's fixing to swap over to, it's not gonna be a problem.
Okay,
It will not be a problem, because we could intertwine, and I could sit there on my handheld. I was playing with one the other day, last time we were at the beach, and as long as it falls in line, I was talking, standing on the beach in Gulf Shores, to Jefferson County Dispatch,
okay,
via that new network.
all right,
It's nice.
good, good, all right. All right, anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Concerns about Smithfield Road. So we live on Smithfield Road.
Yes.
In front of County Line Baptist, so it had been ground down, I guess probably.
A couple of months ago,
It's been,
yeah, it's been several
and,
months.
I had tried to contact Commissioner Washburn multiple times, really no luck. So is there
Good
an
luck.
update on what's going on, because the last word I had from York County was that a culvert needed to be replaced on that road, but they have ground it down to the point that it has a huge, like to the dirt, and it is just deteriorating rapidly. So that's something that we, the people who live on that road travel every single day.
Right.
Which, you
It's
know,
wreaking havoc on our vehicles
it
too.
is.
We lost a tire the other day on the engine on Smith Mill.
That's probably a good pothole.
So
Yeah,
what's
it,
the update if we're, as you know?
Well, there is a culvert that has to be replaced before the new surface is put down. But part of the problem right now is a dispute between the town and the county. According to the state statutes, the county is responsible for maintaining all the roads in the town of County Line. Just one of those things that, but anyway, right now, the county is trying to charge us for every little thing that they do. Now, I'm not opposed to helping or contributing to the repairs, because we're getting a lot more money in than we've ever had that we can use for roads. But I'm not paying a penny until they take ownership back of the roads, which is required by the state. And our attorneys is working on that right now.
Well, and you know, again, we're just the middleman who has to suffer the
Yep.
road every single day. Why would they grind it down? You know, I just don't even understand the process. It makes no sense that they would have ground it down and then just stop.
Just left it.
You know, but it is, seriously, it has been a horrible road. I've lived here my entire life. I grew up here, my husband and I built a home at the end of where I grew up, and it's just, the road has been a nightmare, really. I mean, I'm nearing 50 now, it's been 50 years.
It was
But
bad
it's-
before they ground it, but it's
so
bad now.
It's the worst it's ever been. It's to the point, I mean, something is gonna have to be done, so, I mean, what do we need to do as citizens, like, what needs to happen? Because this needs to speed up.
Well,
It's
it,
damaging our cars, our cars are filthy. I mean, 2 months, that's a long time.
Well, Blount County will grind a road in the spring or early in the season and not do anything with it until later in the paving season.
Which is
Well,
right.
they do that
Proof
up
of that is
throughout.
Over on,
Old Hayden Road?
yeah, Old Hayden Road.
But we
Or is there
We know-
something we can do to help in this process, to move it forward?
right now it's between the lawyers. It actually, our attorney I know is talking with the county and trying to get something settled once and for all. And like I said, according to state statute, Blount County is still responsible for the roads because they were maintaining the roads prior to 1996.
Why does it need a code?
Hmm?
Why does it need a code?
Oh, man, it's
Oh.
eat up.
Where at?
It's rocky.
Right past the church there, the County Line Church.
You know where the barn is? That old metal garage looking barn thing there?
Oh, right there.
All right, right between that barn and that. first house, there's a culvert.
And it's an
And-
old cast, it's an old
And
metal, and
It's
it's
a metal,
hose.
it was a metal pipe, and it's rusted out, and it's crashing. And there is a washout.
Out there, isn't I said,
Ah,
we haven't had but one flood that I've seen, I've been here.
it's, when they
73 years.
scraped it, that's when we saw it. That's.
They said they
and
couldn't pull
they
anything.
let us know that it was there. Well, then they sent us, what they thought that it was, what they wanted to charge us to fix it. And it shouldn't be, it was. And they were talking about putting 2 loads of a size rock in there that you don't use. I mean, it's washed rock there. I mean, it should have been something else.
The last time that road was worked on, did any of y'all know Earl asked you?
Yes, sir, yes. Sir.
Okay, it was the commission,
Uh-huh.
We worked on
And
it,
that's
still
it.
not.
Yeah,
that's the only time it's been.
it's the only
really
time
fixed.
it's ever
Have
really.
the lawyers met again?
Uh-huh.
When will this be resolved? Have they met?
Well, I don't know what, if they've met, but, they sent us quotes on what they wanted to charge us to do all of these different things. And, like, they wanted us to pay for the whole thing. Well, I've got a newspaper clipping where Blunt County said it was their responsibility. And the judge stood right here in this room, and Judge Grant did, and said that it was their responsibility. The commissioner accepted responsibility.
So you're saying county line has a lawyer that is,
We have a lawyer.
okay, so has he met with, that's the question.
Oh,
Has he
I
met
don't
with-
know. He talks to the
He was supposed to be talking to the county attorney
and he
about
has,
this.
or he-
He has been in contact with him, but just don't have any, I just don't have an update that I can give you on that. But it is something that I did talk to the attorney today about. So it's still active. And I want it done as quick as possible. But again, it's not our responsibility to pay for everything. We'll contribute by all means. I want to contribute to get that road fixed, because it's needed work since we came into office. And patching that they've done over the years just made it worse. And the grinding, apparently it was a asphalt. There was an asphalt road there instead of the tar and gravel that they use everywhere else. And that's what they had to grind up.
He's been
I don't-
about 2 weeks, and now it's just potholes everywhere.
Yeah. Well, they just done,
Not like
they
they
just
don't care.
removed the asphalt and they exposed the holes. Anyway, but it's still being pursued, and
I mean, this
I want to get it
long
resolved
road,
as quickly as possible.
half a mile off the road.
Mhm.
Looks like they could get out there half a mile.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It definitely went from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Plus,
Anyway,
they
it
got
is,
taxes on the fixing the roads, and I ain't seen them do much of that.
it is being worked on, and we'll get it resolved as fast as I can.
I mean, I've been to the courthouse, I've called it complaints,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll continue.
Bombard 'em, yeah.
Well,
We've had the same issue on Copper's Hill.
They fixed it.
Well,
No.
Really.
Well, better than
there's another culvert there,
this culvert.
Yeah.
but the roads in the town need work. There's no doubt about that. We're just making sure that we're using your money correctly. Yeah. Anyway, any other questions?
He's not
Sandra?
holding it up.
Yeah. I just got a question. Over here at the corner of Deansbury and Copper's Hill, where them trailers burnt and they cleaned all that lot up, is there any way the council or somebody can send the owner a letter to mow that down? But when you're coming out there at the intersection, you cannot see down to the right, down through there. We just need to mow it down before we can see it and keep it kind of neat.
Is that where I went and cut that time?
Yes, yes.
I'll go, next time I'm cutting, I'll go out there and
Uh,
knock it down.
we do need to send a letter to them, the landowner, and tell them that we'll be sending them a bill for cutting the grass that is disrupting traffic.
I'll take care of it.
Hmm?
I'll take care of it, it's not
Okay. Okay. All right,
It is.
all right.
You don't
Forget
need
it.
to know
Thank you.
Well, I cut it last year just to get
Just
it down.
around the, he did.
I mean, I don't mind doing it
Around the
for
sign.
safety.
No, it's fine, we'll get it.
Okay,
Thank you.
He did it around the street sign though, because when they pulled up there to turn, the fire truck or something like to run into somebody because they couldn't see to get out. And,
Thank
so he went down and cut and sprayed around the street sign and on the right of way. He did it.
don't be mad at me for doing it. I'm just trying to help you.
All right. I appreciate that. And by the way, the corner up here at the four-way stop looks good. I mean, it looks really good.
Oh, it is.
I didn't mean to, I wanted to say something to you about that, because it looks so much better. Thank you very much.
They did a beautiful job.
All right, anything else? Council?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
A motion to adjourn made by Myrtle and seconded by Scott. All in favor? All right, motion carried. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for coming tonight.